It's been a while since I last picked up my colored pencils and did some coloring, so I decided to practice a bit the other day and color a simple card. Hi everyone, I'm Yana Smakula and I'm hoping you will love this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell too to be notified of every new upload. Since fall, I've been using my white pen more and more often, and for this card and exercise, I wanted to try using both the white pen and colored pencils to see what kind of look and effect I could get. I started making this card by arranging images from the Hero Arts You're Beautiful set on a sheet of colored cardstock cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. This will later make the front of my card, and I'm going for mostly one layer card in this video. I've placed the sentiment. It reads, "Dang girl, you're beautiful," and next surrounded it with flowers cascading from the top of the panel down onto the sentiment. I did not want to stamp the background multiple times, so I made sure to position flowers and leaves and other images in such a way so that I would only stamp them once and fill as much of the background as possible. You can totally fill the entire background space like this, but like I mentioned, I took this more like an exercise than an actual card making process, so I was aiming for a simpler design. Once everything was arranged to my liking, I swung the door of my mini MISTI tool and picked up all of the stamps. I treated my paper with an anti-static powder tool to help keep my heat embossing nice and neat, and next inked up the images with clear embossing ink to stamp on the panel. The cardstock I'm using today is new. It's a new product. I cannot yet tell you what it is. I'll be sure to do so in future videos, but I was keen to test it and see how it would take colored pencils. Long story short, I loved it and I'll definitely be using it again and again in the future, and I'll talk more about this cardstock once it is actually released. I used my heat tool and heat set the powder to melt it. I used gold embossing powder from Hero Arts. I've been using my heat tool and heating the paper from the front and from the back to help minimize the warping. I love heat embossing, but I also hate it when my cardstock warps so bad that it distorts the card. It does depend on the cardstock a lot, on the kind of cardstock. Thinner cardstock warps more. This particular cardstock was pretty thick, so it did not warp at all. Plus, I feel like heating it from the front and from the back helped a lot. Next, I removed the anti-static powder from my panel. It's the milky coat that you can see on the paper, and I used a regular pencil eraser to do that. I moved on to my coloring. I grabbed my Polychromos pencil charts and of course my Polychromos pencils by Faber-Castell, and I did a few simple color tests on the back of my panel to see how the colors that I had picked would look on this paper. I was not disappointed and proceeded to color the images. These particular flowers and leaves that I had picked for this card are very tiny, so there's not a lot of room to do lots of blending and shading. But this was exactly what I was going for. I didn't want to pick a big bloom, spend a lot of time coloring it, only to discover half the way that I didn't like the result. I used number 157 dark indigo, number 153 cobalt turquoise, number 156 cobalt green, and number 154 light cobalt turquoise colors to color some of the leaves blue. These colors looked especially gorgeous on this paper, and I'm actually looking forward to using a larger image and coloring it using same colors on this colored cardstock. For my greens, I used number 174 chromium green opaque, number 168 earth green yellowish, and number 170 May green. These colors are actually my favorite from my entire pencil collection, and you can tell that I've been using them a lot by the size of the pencils. Next, for my pinks, I went with number 123 fuchsia, number 131 medium flesh, number 132 light flesh, and number 101 white. I also used my white pen a lot here to color some of the smallest sections where I didn't want to use my pencils. By the way, all of the supplies I'm using today are listed in the video description below. If you'd like to learn more about coloring with colored pencils, I encourage you to check out my pencil coloring playlist, where I share all of my tips and tricks and many examples of using colored pencils on various types of cardstock. Finally, I used the same white pen to add artistic-looking outlines to the flowers. This is not a look that everyone likes. I don't like it on every card, but ever since I shared my faux calligraphy video, I'll link it here in case you missed it, I've been keen on using my white pen in the same fashion again. So I used my pen to add partial outline and some shading, I guess, to all of the images on my card. Like I said, it's a different look, and I do love it sometimes on some of the cards. I think it looks fun on small elements like this, but also on big ones. Not only did I outline the images, but I also outlined the sentiment on the bottom, and I feel like it helped the message stand out a little bit more on the card. I also used my white pen to add some random dots on the background. I wanted to fill the background in a bit more. And then I embellished my card using jewels from Pretty Pink Posh. At this point, I had trimmed my panel to about 5 by 3/8 of an inches tall, and I adhered it onto an A2 white card base. And you can see a little bit of white showing at the top and at the bottom of the card. I used glue to adhere the jewels in place and called this card done. The exercise was a success, and I'm happy with the way this card turned out. I hope you'll give this idea a try using these or other products from your stash. If you do, please share online and tag me on social media. I always love seeing what you guys are making. On the screen, there's a link to a playlist that features all of my videos with pencil coloring. Subscribe now not to miss any new card making tutorials. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. I'll see you next week.